Okay, let's do a setup on this Strat that I've had in for hardware changing. I've done the fretwork already. You see the last video for that one. And now we're going to get the strings on it and get it set up. Right, we've got a fresh pack of strings. I think these are rotor sounds brought by the owner. And first thing we need to do is block the tremolo. This is so we can get it into a neutral position, and then when we set the guitar up, we can make any final adjustments later to get it back to where we know that everything is set up as it should be. So to do that, flip the guitar over, and basically you need to put something in there to stop the tremolo from moving. Now, whether that be an Allen key, a screwdriver, some kind of wrench, but I've got some little wooden blocks that I use. So that just goes in there like that, and then I know the trem isn't going anywhere. So I've got it set up so it's flat to the body, so it will dive but it won't float. So these strings are colour coded on the ball ends, and from the high E they go red, white, blue, red, white, blue. Some of them are just plain brass. Some, like Diodario, have got a colour for each string, which is quite cool. Just push the string into the back of the trem block and pull it through the saddle. Right, okay, getting the strings on. Now this one is fitted with the vintage style tuners, where the end of the string actually goes down inside the shaft of the tuning peg. So we need to cut it to the right length. Now generally, I work on a principle of around 3 fingers past the tuning head that you're attaching the string to, which in this case takes it to around the G string. So I'm allowing a little bit more just for the fact that some of it is going down inside the tuner. Snip it off. Now, so the end of the string goes in, and then you bend the string down into the slot and wind him up. Now, to get it started, a little bit of downward pressure gets the string underneath itself as it goes round. And then just wind it up. Now, you don't need a massive amount of string on the tuner. 2 or 3 winds at most is all you need. Strings are on. Now we're ready to start the setup. The method I use is 5 steps, and it's known as the acronym TRAIN. So that's tune, relief, action, intonation, nut. 5 steps, and if you go through that process, your guitar will be set up to play as well as it can be. Tune to pitch, pick up selector on the bridge position, and start at the top E string. Just make sure that we're in tune. If you do have to adjust it, tune up to pitch, because it's better to be adding tension than removing tension from the string. Now, so the strings are tuned to E. Now we need to get the slack out of the strings, so to do that, start at one end and just stretch the string between your fingers. Right, guitar is tuned, and now we need to check for relief. Relief is basically the amount of bow that's in the neck, be it forward or back bow, and it's that which allows the strings to vibrate without coming into contact with any of the frets. Now, guitars with incorrectly set relief just don't play properly. Now, this is a Stratocaster. Generally their relief is set between 8 and 12 thousandths of an inch, or 0.2 to 0.3 of a millimeter. So this one I'm going to see where it's at and then adjust accordingly. Now, to do that, you need to capo the first fret, get the guitar in playing position, and hold the string down at the body joint. There we go, and then you can see where your relief is. Now, depending on the instrument, you're going to check this at different frets, but on a Stratocaster and most electric guitars, that is the 7th fret, because it's the middle of the string between where the capo is and where you're holding the string down. So let's see where we are. So get your feeler gauge, and in the 7th fret. Right, now this is the 0.3 millimeter, and you just see if it's touching both the fret and the string, which it is not. So I need to adjust the relief to straighten the neck slightly. Now, if you remember, I straightened the neck when I was cleaning and polishing the frets in the last video, so just the string tension has put that amount of relief into the neck. Okay, so now we're going to adjust the truss rod, which is obviously a bit more awkward now the strings are on, but I've got a ball-ended Allen wrench which is the right size. Now, depending on the type of truss rod that's fitted, it might be a one-way or a two-way, but they all work at the same principle. So if the truss rod access is at the headstock end of the fretboard, if you want to increase the bow in the neck, then you turn it that way. If you need to reduce the bow in the neck, you turn it this way. So lefty loosey, righty tighty, as always. So in this case, I need to turn it to the right to tension the truss rod slightly and straighten the neck. Now, you only do small increments at a time. Don't just crank it all the way in one go. So insert the wrench, give it a slight turn, and then we check where we are. So again, capo on first fret, hold down the string at the body joint, okay, so that's just over 1/4 millimeter, which is absolutely fine. Right, so now we check the action of the guitar. Action is the height of the string above the fretboard, or frets rather. Obviously, the lower the action, the easier and faster it will be to play, but it's a trade-off between the guitar playing and getting any fret buzz or or fretting out on higher frets because there's not enough space for the string to vibrate. So me handy little ruler and guitar in playing position, and we see what the string height is at the 12th fret. It's the 12th fret because that should be half of the scale length of the guitar, which is the total length of the string between the nut and the bridge. So on electric guitars, usually the bottom E string is between 1.5 and 2 millimeters, and the top E string is between 1 and 1.5 millimeters. Now on this guitar, it's slightly high, so we'll adjust the height of the saddles here. So guitar in playing position. I've got a 1/16 of an inch Allen key, and I'm going to lower the saddle a little bit at a time. Now I like to keep the saddles level, because I think it gives you a better read. So that is almost 1.5 millimeters, which is a good starting point. See where we good starting point. See where we are. Okay, so the bottom E string is now 1.5 millimeters, and let's adjust the top E string down. Let's see where that is. Right, so the bottom and top E's are now set to roughly where they should be. So then you can match the other strings to follow the curve of the fretboard, and then we'll dial it in from there. I've adjusted the saddles and the string height. Now obviously I've lowered them, which has taken tension off the strings, which means we need to retune the guitar to make sure that it's back to pitch. So yeah, see, that's dropped half a step. So right, to check the intonation of your guitar, there you need to compare the harmonic at the 12th fret with the fretted note, and that will give you the pitch of the string, you know, at its halfway point. So the scale length is the distance of the string, or the length of the string rather, from the nut to the bridge. Now this guitar is currently in tune at E, so we do a harmonic at the 12th, which the tuner agrees is in tune. Now fret the note. Well, I didn't expect that to happen. Okay, so right, repeat the process on each string. So that's B, in tune, in tune, in tune, slightly flat. Interesting. See, the G string is very slightly flat on the harmonic. So what's the fretted note? The fretted note in tune. Okay, so that means I need to adjust the saddle very slightly towards the nut. Basically, if it's flat, the saddle comes forward. If it's sharp, the saddle moves backwards. So I'm going to give that a very small adjustment. So you see, that wasn't even half a turn there of the screw. So that should now be flat, which it is. Okay, G string is in tune. Check the harmonic. Yep. And okay. All that means is now that G string is compensated for the length of the string across the whole guitar. So, right, the final step in the guitar setup is checking the nut, which is this thing at the end of the fretboard. For anyone who doesn't know, I don't know why it's called the nut. I'm assuming it's a shortening of an old word from, you know, the days of full orchestras and classical music, etc. But I don't know, so I'll have a look and see if anyone knows, put it in the comments and we'll all learn something. Now, to check the height of your nut or to see if it needs adjusting at all, the quickest way that I know of to do this is hold the string down at the 3rd fret and then tap the string above the 1st fret. And you should hear a ringing noise. Now, all that means is the string has got a slight amount of room, so it can hit the top of the 1st fret without touching it when you're fretting at the 3rd fret. If that's what you get, then the nut is fine. You can go completely OCD with the nut and go in there with files. Generally, I only do that if it's an absolutely brand new nut and it needs cutting down to size. On a guitar where the nut is in really good condition, and besides which this is a Graphtec nut anyway, so you know they're absolutely fine. I wouldn't necessarily start filing away at a nut unless I knew it was absolutely necessary, because it is one of those things on guitar where it can go very wrong very quickly. So just quickly going over each string. Yeah, that feels absolutely fine to me. So I'm not going to be, you know, messing with that at all. The guitar feels perfectly comfortable at the 1st fret to play. I can hold down an F bar chord quite easily. So that's the and that's ringing out absolutely fine, no fret buzz anywhere, so that is absolutely fine as it is. So that's the 5 steps to setting up a guitar using the train method. So I hope this helps. If you do it differently, put it in the comments, let me know. I'm always open to new ideas and learning something. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.